Right, let's catch up with the weather. Carol is here with us, and there's a storm on the way, Carol, isn't there? Tell us more.
That's right, Joanna. It's the first named storm of the season. Abigail is what it's going to be called, as in you could say, is that a big gale, because it looks very much like it. It's not going to affect all of us. It is going to be largely northwest Scotland and northern Scotland, but it could clip the north coast of Northern Ireland as well. And we're looking at gusts of wind from this storm at about 70 or 80 miles an hour. Locally across parts of Scotland, it could even be 90 miles an hour. And in fact, the Met Office have literally just issued an amber weather warning, which means be prepared for this storm for the Outer Hebrides, far north of mainland Scotland, and also Orkney. So it's a big one coming our way, but as I say, not affecting everyone.
So what about the rest of us?
The rest of us, it will be windy, but nowhere near as windy as that. And it's quite interesting how they've named the storms. In fact, I've got a wee list to show you here, because it's very similar to the way that the Americans do it. So it is in alphabetical order. It's girl, boy, girl, boy, girl, boy. And if there is a particularly bad storm, that name, like the American hurricane system, will never be replaced again. And the reason that they have named the storms is so that you can focus on them. We'll be aware of them. We'll be able to track them. And it's only substantial storms that are going to be named, because we have lots of deep areas of low pressure coming our way which won't be named, but the ones that are likely to have some impact on the UK or indeed on Ireland, as is the case in this instance, where it will be largely northern and northwestern Scotland.
So how many of those do we get? I mean, how quickly are we likely to get through that list?
That is the multi-million-dollar question. If I knew the answer to that one, I'd be doing the lottery right now. But hopefully not this many. You'll notice some of the names haven't actually been put in. It's the same with the Americans. They don't put in Q's, U's, X, Y's or Z's either, although I'm sure we could think of a few names like Quentin.
I'm racking my brains. I've already got one for you, Ursula. That wasn't
yes,
difficult.
And Y could be something else. Yasmin,
Zoe.
Z, Zoe. Yeah, so there are plenty, and then the list will be replaced, you know, each year as these storms come in. But I hope we don't see as many storms as this.
Let's hope.
But today it's not stormy weather that we're looking at. Today what we have is much quieter weather on offer. It's going to be mild once again. It's also going to be breezy, and there will be some rain around as well. For some of us, we'll also have some sunny spells too, and in the sunshine, temperatures could get up to about 17 or indeed 18 Celsius. So if we look at the rain, we've got the rain across northern England, slipping down across parts of Wales as we go through the course of the day, still some heavy bursts in it. Behind across Scotland and Northern Ireland, there will be some sunshine, but there will also be some showers. And ahead of that band of rain, a lot of clouds, some drizzle and 1 or 2 showers as well. Temperatures, well, these are what you can expect, 11 to about 15 or 16 Celsius. So as we head on through the course of the afternoon, you can see in more detail across southwest England a lot of cloud. The rain not too far away from the north coast of Devon and also Cornwall. Across southern counties generally a lot of cloud too, with the odd shower here and there, wee bit of drizzle. But it's in the east where we see some sunshine. For example, parts of Lincolnshire and Norfolk, we could have 17 or 18 as the high. Then there's the rain across northern England, behind it brightening up. Bright afternoon across most of Scotland with some sunshine. However, there will be showers in the north and west. And across Northern Ireland and southwest Scotland, we'll be starting to see some squally showers, meaning very gusty winds around those showers, moving quite quickly through. For Wales, it's going to be a cloudy and a wet afternoon, but still temperatures not bad for this stage in November. So if we pick up the squally showers moving across Northern Ireland and Scotland, they will move through quite quickly. Gusts of wind 55 miles an hour around some of the showers is quite possible. Could lead to some tricky travelling conditions for the rush hour. And also, if you're doing anything to celebrate Diwali, then bear that in mind as well. Behind it, it's going to be nippy enough for a touch of frost across some sheltered glens, possibly into the north of England too. But it's Thursday, we see the arrival of Abigail on our shores, deep area of low pressure heading northwards. You can see from the squeeze on the isobars it's going to be windy, particularly on its southern flank. So putting some pictures on that as we go through the course of Thursday. Thursday actually starts off on not a bad note for many of us. There'll be some sunshine, the breeze picking up, but the wind starts to pick up through the day as the rain arrives too across Northern Ireland. And you can see these large arrows in the west. We're looking at gusts about 55 miles an hour as we go through the afternoon. And this chart actually stops at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. But it's into the evening and overnight that we've got our amber weather warning, and the storm really packs a punch. And we're talking again, just to remind you, northern and northwestern parts of Scotland. The gusts that you can see here are gusts, they're not sustained wind speeds, but we're looking at 70, 80 miles an hour. Locally, we could even hit 90 miles an hour, so there'll be some impacts from that, possibly power cuts, travel disruption as well. But it will pass through quite quickly. And then the other thing that it's going to do is introduce colder air for a time. There'll be some snow on the Scottish hills and mountains during the course of the latter part of Thursday and Friday. And Friday itself will be colder than it has been for a couple of weeks, but that will be transient because this milder air, is indicated by the orange colour, is going to sweep across the UK for the weekend. And once again, we will be looking at wet and windy conditions, but not as windy as Abigail is going to bring us. So finally, as we have a look at Friday, again, you can see quite a lot of dry weather around. There'll be some sunshine as well. There will be some scattered showers too. Temperatures going right down to 7 or 8 or 9 if you think we've been looking at 17 or 18 in some parts of the UK. But as I mentioned, the mild conditions, so wet and windy, return for the weekend.